Came repairing this Shivers Swami Spirit Ball. The mouth doesn't move and the head floating doesn't move, but the eyes still work, and they work relatively good too, so I'm not going to do anything with that mechanism today. Alright, so I haven't activated it yet while I have it apart, but I took the screws out for the motor because I plan on taking it out because it feels really tight, like I can't even spin it with my fingers. I could, but it takes a lot more force than it should, so I think that the motor is locked up. So I'm going to try to free it up. If not, I might just replace the motor altogether. Okay, yeah, the motor was really locked up. I freed it up. I don't know if the gear split or not. I can't tell till I put it back together, I guess, but I'm probably going to replace it anyway because it seems to make the most sense while I'm in here. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, the gear in it actually seems to be okay. I hate to waste a gear on something that doesn't really need it. Okay, the head's fixed, just the motor was locked up. I did not replace the gear, the motor shaft gear, because it is perfectly fine, so I really don't feel like there's a need to replace it. Even though I know I'm already inside it, it'll last even longer. Who's to say this gear that's in here won't last, you know, another good couple years. As for the mouth, I don't like how the chin piece is screwed in. The plastic is yellowed, and in my experience, some yellowed plastic is not always fragile. Like, there's some plastic just yellows due to age, and it's not really super fragile. This, however, is not one of those cases. This plastic is kind of fragile. I got that screw out. This screw holder broke out. But yeah, I don't even know what's wrong with the mouth. I think the motor is locked up in this one too. I don't know. Guess we'll see. But yeah, I'm gonna have to hot glue the left end back in, which is alright. It is what it is. Okay, so for the mouth, not only is the gear split because it came right off. Doesn't look it, but it is. But the motor is also locked up for that one. So it's crazy how the eye motor isn't locked up because the other two are. But I'm going to go ahead and try to free that up and put a new gear on it in the meantime. Alright, so we got the motor freed up, and then I'll go ahead and put it back together. Yeah, do you remember I mentioned this is one of those cases where the yellow plastic is fragile? There's the mouthpiece. I was putting it back on the spring, and I like squeezed them both together. Mind you, I didn't even put that much pressure on, and phew, they shattered. Like I said, there were times I worked with yellow plastic and it didn't seem to be that fragile, but like I said, this is definitely not one of those cases. You can tell, it's just, yeah. So I'm gonna see if I have another mouthpiece from something lying around. If not, it's gonna obviously have to work without the mouth for now, but yeah. Alright, so here is the Swami Spirit Ball, and I was not able to do anything for the mouth because the mouthpiece shattered. So I put the whole thing back together, and I then remembered I had a spare Zoltan head, which is, you know, is the same face. And I could use these to hook into his mouth inside. I won't replace the mouthpiece because that would involve me having to tear the glue off, and it was already hard enough to do that on the Zoltan. As you can see, some of the skin ripped. I would have been more gentle with it if I, you know, actually planned on doing something with that Zoltan head, but I was just gonna, you know, it's scrapped for parts. So, now we get to take him apart all over again. Well, of course, this is turning out to be way more difficult than intended. I put acetone on here because they use, like, the strongest glue in the world. Like I'm telling you, it could hold, like, an atomic bomb together. And instead of it making the glue come off the mouth, it ate through the mask on the bottom of the chin, so now I gotta glue that. And it sucks because I ended up, like, ruining it, kind of, but not intentionally. And these aren't long enough, or they're not that they're not long enough, sorry, but they won't fit through the holes of the mouthpiece. So I was gonna use the Zoltan mouthpiece and take that one out. Obviously, the acetone ate through the mask rather than taking the glue off, because why would it? So then I put acetone on this plastic, thinking that the plastic would come right off. It would eat at the super glue. Nope. Whatever glue they use is the best glue in the world, because instead the plastic just ended up breaking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to shave this down and glue it into the current mouthpiece and hope for the best. Okay, so now that we also lost eye movement, I mean, I did test it. They turn a little bit because that little like knob rubs against it. And the reason I shittily glued them together with hot glue is just so that the eyes don't spread apart and look stupid. This way they're just aligned. I wasn't even trying to get it to move. And no, I don't have another one of those eye pieces. I thought I did, but I took it out of that Zoltan I scrapped for parts for Leatherface. So now for the mouth. Of course, it won't evenly line up with the two holes here. So what I did is I took like the end of like a popsicle stick and I hot glued that as like a bar, and then the bar will be glued right there. Honestly, I don't expect it to last long, but I really don't know what else to do because I don't have another mouthpiece. The glue wouldn't come out of the slot for the old gearbox. Then the glue wouldn't come out of the mouth to replace the mouthpiece instead. And you know, I'm just so annoyed and over it. Like I'm not gonna lie, I thought about just scrapping this whole freaking thing for parts and getting another one, but I thought, no, as long as I get most of the functions to work. I mean, I'd rather the mouth work than the eyes, to be honest, but yeah. So we're gonna hope this works. I don't really have any other solution. I could screw this into here instead of gluing it, but I need it to attach to this. I'm worried about it falling off of this. And I can't drill through there. I can't screw through there because I can't get the mouth out in front. And even if I did, that plastic is going to shatter just like it did for the eyes and the original slots here. If I knew it was so yellowed inside, I would not have bought this one. But you can't tell, obviously. It just... And the reason they get like that is like if a person stores it in like an attic or somewhere with a lot of like humidity. Plastic yellows with age, but that doesn't always mean, like I said earlier, that it's fragile. This one did mean that it was fragile, and like I said, I think it's because they stored it somewhere with a lot of humidity, probably for a long time, and that takes like, I don't know, whatever chemicals are in plastic, it like takes it out of there. I don't know exactly what the chemicals are, but yeah, they like break down and whatnot. But all right, well, this is pretty much dry. I'm gonna try to glue it to there and hope for the best. I don't expect success. Okay. I am so sick of this thing. I love it as a prop, but as for what I had to go through repairing it with the, you know, certain plastic pieces being shattered in the process, it's just been a whole nightmare. So I'm going to explain to you what I did for the mouth, and it is extremely ghetto and jerry-rigged. However, it was that or the mouth doesn't move at all. And I still don't know if it works. I have not tested it since putting it back together. Because if this doesn't work, oh well. I don't really have anything else to do. Then it's just going to be a floating freaking head. But, this thing's made me so fussy. But, basically, and I'll include 2 pictures after this. I hot glued the popsicle, half a popsicle stick. Obviously, it was clean first. To the yellow part of the mouth, to the jawline here. Or the chin line, sorry. I then took a zip tie and zip tied it tightly around the 2 levers that go up and down that control that attach to the chin. I then hot glued over that zip tie. Then I took another zip tie, placed it through the zip tie that's onto the levers and around the popsicle stick. Super ghetto. I do not have a choice. I do not have another mouthpiece. There's no really way to get them unless somebody has a 3D printed file. Great, then I'll get one and I will take that ghetto mechanism that I have in his chin out. That'd be great if anybody knows. But yeah, so here's some pictures. And that's just basically what I did. So don't know if it works, but I glued his skin back on. I glued the hat back on. If it doesn't work, oh well. But we're going to find out together. Raw reaction. Where the hell's the switch? Obviously the eyes broke. You hear them trying to go. not gonna lie to you, thoroughly surprised it works, let alone works as well as it does. I tried getting this little bubble out of his chin here. I don't know what that is. It's just, I don't know if some hot glue got in there or something, but yeah, so mine has a little wart right there. Yeah, so let me put his globe back on and then I'll get right back with you. Okay, the globe is back on. Like I said, the eyepiece did shatter, so until I get another one of those. But honestly, at this point, I'm better off just getting a new Shivers Swami. I'm not going to put no more work into this one because the pieces are yellowed. I'm not going to get an eyepiece and then put it in with this and then have that mouth be rigged the way it is. Like, I like things as original as they can be. So honestly, I am just going to be in the market for a new Shivers Swami. I'm going to keep this one. I'll use it for like displays and that, but for collection purposes, I want a new one. But anyway, I'll give it one more activation. I got the legs on. The one back leg is broken. Also, I think I mentioned I got this off eBay. I didn't plan on doing a repair video of this, but yeah. Thank you for watching. I should note that I forgot when I demoed him previously, I did have black electrical tape over the speaker box just so he wasn't so loud every time I kept turning him on to test him. So his full volume, now that the tape's off, just wanted to note that. Not sure if it's much of a difference. I think it is.
I have but one recommendation for you. Eat well and stay fit. You'll die anyway, but at least you look better.
So yeah, I did make a short of this guy, and he did work. His eyes did turn, but there were times where they wouldn't turn, but you could hear the motor running, and then they would like fix themselves and turn again. So I wasn't really sure what the problem was, and I thought it was a split gear. And I took the gear off to replace it anyway. It came off, but it wasn't like entirely split yet. It was barely on the verge of just starting to. But actually what the issue is with these, if you ever hear the motor going and the eyes are only moving like a little bit and they're twitching, it's actually because there's a stopper back here and the stopper is broken. So there's the crack right there you can see. And sorry, I'm trying to do this on one hand. You turn it all the way, have it upside down now to the end, and it's supposed to stop there. Because it's cracked, it keeps going. So yeah, that's the issue. You can see, wait, where was the split? There it is right there. So I don't know if I'm gonna try to maybe replace that piece or just glue it or something, I don't know. I did end up just gluing it with some crazy glue, super glue. So, yeah, I got a new gear out, and then I have to solder the wires back on the motor because they came off. Yeah, the grease in him gets really, really like sticky, so I'm gonna clean that up too, because like it's not like even a lubricant anymore. It's just really sticky.